DeKalb landlords are being asked to step up policing of off-campus apartments. 2 apartments are now uninhabitable from meth lab fumes. And Feed 'em Soup is having financial problems, but NIU students are trying to save them from going under. NTC News Tonight starts right now.
You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight.
Everything from loud house parties to murder. This week we've been telling you where DeKalb's worst apartment neighborhoods are. Good evening, I'm Emily Fannin.
And I'm Erica Exton. For the past year, police have been ordering landlords to step up their game. Alan Kozlu has more on how they're working together to crack down on residential crime.
So what is the crime-free housing program?
DeKalb's landlords listen as Carl Leone explains what crime-free housing is and what it means for them. Certification classes like this one are now part of the minimum requirements for owning rental property in DeKalb. The Crime-Free Housing Bureau is a link between the police and rental property owners, drawing them into the crime prevention process.
Let the police do the police work.
So in a criminal case where you have to have this much evidence to have somebody leave, the landlord needs that much evidence, just enough to sway the judge.
Okay, well, I just wanted to call in an arrest made out on your property.
A key feature of the crime-free housing program is increased communication between police and landlords. Last time we told you about 809 Edgebrook Drive, about how police were able to cut the calls for service there in half. They're crediting this program and the cooperation of the landlords with that decrease.
The Crime-Free Housing Bureau operates on a simple premise. A hardened criminal can come back from a night in a jail cell relatively unfazed. But there's one thing they won't come back from: an eviction notice. This is the hoe for weeding out crime in DeKalb.
Here's how it works. Each morning, Carl Leone looks through the police reports from the day before. When he sees that there's been an arrest in a rental property, he contacts the landlord, either by phone, with a letter, or both. The landlords are free to do with the information what they will, whether that's evicting a tenant or giving them a push in the right direction.
The nice thing about this is I do believe that the tenants do respect the city.
Taking the class and registering are the bare minimum requirements of the program, but landlords are free to take it further. Any landlord who completes all 3 phases of the program can post Crime-Free Housing's copyrighted logo on their building.
And I know everybody in here would just love to have one of these hanging on their building.
For NTC News in DeKalb, Alan Kozlu.
Thanks, Alan. And later on in our show, we will have Carl Leone from the police department to tell us how well this new program is working after its first year.
A DeKalb home is uninhabitable after a recent meth lab bust. Police found working meth lab Friday on 11th Street as part of an ongoing investigation. The building was evacuated while firefighters and the Illinois State Police removed the lab without incident. Police deemed 2 of the 3 apartments uninhabitable due to the heavy fumes from the lab. The resident who lived in the other apartment was allowed to return to his home. According to DeKalb Public Works, the property owner is responsible for cleaning up the property, but is not sure what city agency can declare the complex inhabitable again.
A judge is allowing cameras in the courtroom for the case of former NIU police officer Andrew Rifkin. The judge has found Rifkin's argument too weak to bar cameras from the courtroom. Rifkin is accused of sexual assault on a student.
If you go to Feed 'em Soup, know what they are in debt and might be closing soon, but they are getting a little help from local groups and NIU students.
Trey Ward has more on how they might stay in running with a little help from their friends.
Here at Feed 'em Soup, Delta Phi Delta is bringing talent to the stage, bringing people smiles on a situation that is in debt. Delta Phi Delta has brought entertainment to an organization that may be in its last days because of debt.
Having a benefit night is so that we can help contribute to the DeKalb community. That's what Feed 'em Soup is all about.
Since January 2010, Feed 'em Soup has been providing free meals to the less fortunate, asking little other than for donations. But after the Church of DeKalb left last May, their rent increased from $500 to $3,200 a month.
We're self-supporting. We don't have state or federal funding. We have our own all-you-can-eat fundraisers. We have our After Dark on the weekends, and we do a little grant writing too, but we basically raise our own funds.
Hope for Feed 'em Soup came when organizations like Pi Sigma Epsilon surprisingly helped raise almost $2,000 in donations.
I had no idea it was going to get this big, you know. Our initial goal was $100, and we raised over $1,500 for Feed 'em Soup.
Even despite the weather, we had a couple bad days, we still reached our goal. It was snowing at one point, it was raining, but we still hit our goal of $2,000.
David Gordon says that Feed 'em Soup is about helping the community, something he fully supports.
You know, there's a lot of people in this world that are starving, that are homeless, can't provide food for their family. We just want to make a good meal for a lot of people, make them feel happy.
And Walt Myers says despite Feed 'em Soup's lack of funds, his own personal experiences keep him supportive of his organization.
There was a time when I was homeless, and I was in Chicago, and I've been in soup kitchens before, and I'm glad they're there, but they're very depressing places. This is my way of giving back and paying forward.
The organization doesn't know exactly how their debt will turn out for the future, but they are remaining open to any and all help from volunteers. Feed 'em Soup is expected to get more and more donations as days go on through their debt crisis. This is Trey Ward in DeKalb for NTC News.
They get no money, they get no government money, so fundraiser dinners are the main way that Feed 'em Soup stays in business.
Residents of a mobile home park are being forced to pick up and go. The county of Sycamore has made an offer to purchase property from Evergreen Village owner for almost $1.5 million. This means residents will have to move to a new location as early as June. Homeowners will meet with county officials in May to discuss mobile home values and moving assistance. However, residents will not be compensated for any renovations that were made after the flood that occurred in 2008. Mobile home owners have the right to disagree with the offers, but ultimately it is up to the state of Illinois. The county's goal is to relocate families with school-aged children first so that they are settled before the upcoming school year.
The DeKalb Public Library has received an $11.5 million expansion grant to fix many problems that they have. A major issue is that they handicap accessibility and will be adding elevators and ramps. They will also turn the computer lab into a place for teens to hang out. And lastly, doubling the size of the children's section. Library officials have wanted to expand and remodel the building for several years.
One big change NIU made this semester was bringing in the Gooseinator. The plan was to scare geese that left droppings all over campus, but it seems that the geese aren't fooled by it and are hanging around. By the time summer comes around, many more should be back from winter migration. If you walk or hang out near NIU's lagoons, continue to be aware of goose droppings.
One of the hardest things for a child is missing their mother or father if they are in the military. Erica Burgess tells us more on how the community is supporting our military kids right here in DeKalb and helping kids put them more at ease.
The Sycamore and Rochelle Performing Arts Academy is performing tonight for all the kids who have a mom or dad in the military. All of the money raised from the dance is being given to our Military Kids organization. This organization then uses the money to pay for activities that military children want to participate in. Whether it's to socialize or do something they love, it's a way to try to distract the kids from missing their mom and dad. And for 13-year-old Danielle Penn, she knows that feeling all too well. Her dad has been in the Army for 27 years.
I received a $500 grant for dance to help with costumes and all my lessons. He's in Afghanistan for a year.
Her dance teacher and NIU alum Jody Riley can relate.
My kids both received scholarships from our military kids when my husband was in Afghanistan in 2008, 2009. I don't know what it's like to be a single parent because I'm not. I do have a husband, but I would compare it to being a single parent. Very stressful as far as them being gone and you don't know if they're safe or not.
Jody's husband, Clayton, appreciates the love and support his family received while he was away.
I actually think it's harder probably on my wife and kids. I missed all of my son's second grade year. And he'll be like, oh, remember that project I did in second grade? And no, I don't. You can't really catch up for it. Can't make up for it. It's exciting to get to see the kids give back in an important way. Kids don't often get a chance besides writing letters or sending care packages. So this is an opportunity for them to perform and dedicate it for a different purpose.
Our Military Kids organization looks forward to helping more children during their time of separation. In DeKalb, Erica Burgess, NTC News.
The benefit dance collected over $700 for the military kids. Thanks, Erica. We'll take a look at the weather window for today and tomorrow.
Kevin Holland is now here with us, and I keep hearing nothing but rain. Why?
Yeah, that's been the story, and you've heard right, because it's going to stay this way for the next couple of days, at least until the weekend. But on Monday, there were dozens of tornadoes that flared up across parts of Mississippi and Alabama. This particular tornado here touched down in Tupelo, Mississippi, and ripped through most of the town, killing just one person. Here's a small rural town in Mississippi that didn't manage to come out of this tornado outbreak unscathed. As you can see, complete devastation settled in, and it's just a mess that you don't want to have to go through, unfortunately. But meanwhile, up north here, we haven't had to deal with any severe thunderstorms thus far. So let's take a look at our weather outlook and what it will be like for tomorrow. So you can see rain showers scattered about the northern Illinois area. You'll have mid to lower 50s, low to mid 50s throughout much of the area, and I'll have more details on this weather in just a bit, so stick with us. You're watching NTC News Tonight.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Hey guys, and welcome back to NTC News Tonight. I'm Kevin Holland, and we'll kick things off by taking a look at today's weather as we reach a high of 55 degrees today, which is 10 degrees below average for this time of year, but we didn't get as low as what we were expected to see, as we only bottomed out to about 42 degrees. So this is how the severe storm threat looks throughout much of Wednesday. As you can see, the highest risk is here in the Carolinas, as it's finally pushed its way off from Mississippi and Alabama. You could see some flash flooding, some damaging winds, and isolated tornadoes, but hopefully they can manage to dodge that bullet and come out of this thing unscathed. So tonight's surface conditions look a little bit like this. As you can see, this elongated cold pressure, or cold front that's coming through most of the United States, and with it, it's wrapping up all this moisture, as you see up here in Minnesota and Wisconsin. That sets us up for some possible showers tonight into tomorrow. But you'll see this little slot right here. That's called the dry slot, so we might not see any for the latter half of tomorrow, and into tomorrow night you could see that low pressure start to finally make its way across and into the northeast. And if you look down here in the Texas area, you'll see this high pressure system that's going to start funneling up some warmer air and more pleasant conditions. It's probably going to see around seasonably average temperatures into early next week. So tonight you'll see chance for some rain and rain showers and cloudy. We'll bottom out around 41 degrees for temperatures, and those winds will be out of the south at 10 to 15 miles per hour, which will really moderate our temperatures. We won't see as cold as temperatures we've been seeing the past couple of days. And into tomorrow, we could see a couple of showers, otherwise cloudy with a high of 47. And those gusts get up to about 25 miles per hour, so watch out for that. And then tomorrow night will remain cloudy with a small chance for a stray shower, but nothing too significant. And the lows will be around 42 degrees, so we'll only have a 4-degree difference as we go into the night of tomorrow. And our 5-day outlook looks a little bit like this. We have rain Thursday through Saturday possibly, and our temperatures will be rebounding nicely around 60-degree marks through Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday, look at that, we'll start clearing up around 65 degrees, and then possibly Tuesday and Wednesday we could see some 70s. But for now, we have to worry about these next 5 days. That's it for the weather. Let's swing it back to the desk.
Well, too bad it's nothing but gray skies and rain for the next couple of days.
Well, some people are calling it a crackdown on bad tenants and landlords. Carl Leone teams up with what's called the DeKalb Crime-Free Housing Task Force.
Well, it sounds like you have a pretty big job on your hands. What exactly is the job?
Well, it has become quite a daunting task, to say the least. But basically, it's a job of being proactive and forming partnerships with landlords.
Okay, how successful has it been lately? We've heard that many crimes have decreased lately.
It has been very successful. In a recent talk I gave with the City Council, I presented some information that shows overwhelmingly that the number of calls for service, and that's all calls, not just severe crimes or anything, but all calls for service are dropping significantly throughout our rental community.
That's great.
And we understand landlords are now required to take the classes through the police force. What has been the overall response to the training?
The response has been excellent. We do 2 classes a month. We've got about close to 900 landlords to train, so it's going to take the better part of the year to get that job done. But the landlords have stepped up. The senior landlords spend much time during class giving advice to the novice landlords. So it's been a great networking tool for landlords, as well as the police getting some information on what landlords can do to be proactive.
So what's the ultimate goal after that?
The ultimate goal is to drive down crime, have safe, quality housing.
Okay, great. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
My pleasure.
In Ukraine, Russians have taken over another government building.
And suicide bombers attack voting poll stations in Iraq. Here's what's happening in today's World Watch.
Armed men have seized another building in Ukraine's Donetsk region. This is the latest to fall under control of pro-Russian militants. Government sites across more than a dozen towns and cities in Donetsk are still occupied despite an international deal that called for legal armed groups to disarm and go home.
People in Iraq are voting today under tight security after a period of growing violence. Suicide bombers struck polling stations in Baghdad and northern Iraq this week, killing dozens of people. One terrorist group has threatened to kill Sunni Muslims if they go to vote. Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki is running for a 3rd term. Oklahoma has delayed a second execution after a convicted killer's lethal injection went horribly wrong. Clayton Lockett died of an apparent heart attack after his first injection failed to render him unconscious yesterday. At one point, prison officials closed a curtain so witnesses could not see Lockett thrashing. The governor has ordered an investigation.
Do police officers need a warrant to search the cell phones of people they've arrested? That's the controversial issue that the Supreme Court is tackling beginning today. The court has long allowed those searches, but critics say it's unfair because cell phones provide private access to person's life. A court ruling on the issue is expected in June. And that's today's World Watch.
Effective immediately, I am banning Mr. Sterling for life from any association with the Clippers organization or the NBA.
Message received loud and clear, Commissioner. I'm Brett Tudela for NTC Sports. Following the released recordings of Clippers owner Donald Sterling making racist remarks, Sterling was punished to the highest level allowed in the NBA Constitution. The Clippers, however, did have a game to play last night at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. Clippers fans, they're showing their support for their team in a very loud way. First quarter now, Clips get a steal here, push it up to Chris Paul. He drops a pass to Blake Griffin for the tomahawk slam right there. Final seconds of the first half. Paul drives towards the hoop and misses the layup though. DeAndre Jordan right there to grab the ball and flip in the reverse layup as the buzzer goes off. Clippers get a steal and push it up to Jamal Crawford in the second half for the two-handed slam. Clippers up 4 there. Fourth quarter, Blake Griffin is putting on a show here. He avoids the double team with a spin right there and hits the fadeaway jumper, putting the Clips up 9. Jordan hits the floor right there, flips it to Griffin, who pushes it up to Crawford for the layup. The Clippers would get the 10-point victory, 113-103. The Bulls were on the brink of being knocked out of the playoffs going to last night's Game 5 at the United Center. First half, Nene, fresh off his suspension, with a spin and a fadeaway on Taj Gibson. Here, a little bit of a bad pass by Bradley Beal, but Nene uses his strength to force Tony Snell away, grabs the ball with one hand, pushes back up to Beal, who hits the three-pointer. Second half, Bulls keeping it close still in the first half. Jimmy Butler gets the ball in the corner and knocks down the 3, 1-point game. Here's the second half where Heinrich misses this jumper. John Wall grabs the rebound, throws it ahead to Beal, who gets his one-handed dunk there. John Wall with a couple crossovers on Heinrich, hitting the elbow jumper, putting the Wiz up by a 5-point lead. Heinrich with a great pass there to Butler, but he misses the layup in the final seconds. This is basically how Bulls fans felt all series long. The Wizards knocked the Bulls out of the playoffs with a 75-69 win. With the Bulls season being over, starts an off-season full of a lot of questions regarding the roster. The future of players like Carlos Boozer, upcoming free agents DJ Augustine and Kirk Heinrich are some of the main questions for the Bulls. Their status on the team is uncertain, with the health of Derrick Rose and Carmelo Anthony's interest in playing in Chicago up in the air. Now over to the diamond of the Miami Marlins for our play of the day. Ramiro Pena hits a little dribbler in front of the mound. Marlins pitcher Jose Fernandez grabs the ball, fakes everyone out, even the cameraman, and flips it to home plate to get Tyler Pastornicki tagged out at home plate. Look at it again. This cameraman gets a little faked out too, and that will be our play of the day. That's all I have for sports for today. Emily and Erica will tell you what's coming up next.
Coming up, a touch of old world aristocracy and how you can have it here in DeKalb County. We'll explain.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun? Whoa, 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 whoa. Can you feel the sun?
In Genoa, Crumpet's restaurant looks just like your ordinary restaurant, but on the inside, it's a whole different world.
Inside the 815, reporter Sabrina Bennett takes us into the historic Victorian-themed restaurant and shows us how it's not just biscuits and tea there. That's funny.
Although tea time may look relaxing, Crumpet's Tea Room is working hard to bring the Downton Abbey feel right here to Genoa, Illinois. Pam Semro, owner of Crumpet's Tea Room, explains how her shop offers more than just a hot cup of tea.
It's more relaxed. The world is such a fast place these days. Everybody's in a hurry. They want to grab something to eat and go. We cater more towards a more relaxed kind of atmosphere. We play our classical music in the background, and we allow people to have time to have a conversation.
Vintage paintings and porcelain teaware decorate the room in a classic Victorian style. The atmosphere encourages you to slow down and stay as long as you'd like. The table settings give off an old-world charm that brings back a sense of refinement from a bygone era. History plays a key role in the business. Even the building is more than 100 years old. But it's the little things like menus tucked into antique books that add to the charm of Crumpet's Tea Room. Good conversation and Victorian hospitality aren't the only things that these ladies came for.
One of the areas that Crumpet's Tea Room specializes in is their desserts. And some favorites include Italian coconut cake, hot fudge bistro cake, and their old-fashioned tulip sundae.
Other than tea and desserts, the shop also offers a variety of luxury ingredient sandwiches, like the Piccadilly croissant and the Trafalgar, which are all British-inspired names. So whether you're looking for a bite to eat or just a change in scenery, you too can take a step back in time to enjoy the finer things in life. In Genoa, Sabrina Bennett, NTC News.
Well, that looks like a great place to have lunch sometime.
Yes, absolutely. And it's not just about the food.
This is our last show of the school year. We thank you for joining us this year. Have a great summer break, and thanks for watching.
Goodbye, everyone.